St Nicholas Abbey in front. The Japanese mare trying to run him down, but St Nick's in front. He'll go one better this year. St Nicholas Abbey drew clear. He won the Dubai Shima Classic.
Magician and Joseph O'Brien go on to lead, being chased by Gale Force 10, but it's going to be a 1-2 for Ballydoyle. Magician and Joseph O'Brien win by 4 lengths. Racing inside the last 200 now, and CAMELOT has come right through them from last to first, and CAMELOT goes on from triumphant in Parish Hall, and it's a winning reappearance for CAMELOT, who'll score for Joseph O'Brien.
And leading light shines and wins the ledger for Aidan and Joseph O'Brien.
When Michael Kinane rode 115 winners in the 1993 Irish flat season, the legendary jockey was entitled to think that his record total might last for at least the rest of his lifetime. However, at the tender age of just 19, and with the first jockey's title already safely banked, Joseph O'Brien had other ideas. Aided by the considerable might of Father Aidan's Ballydoyle battalions, the youngster made a blistering start to the 2013 domestic campaign, and having maintained the momentum through the crucial midsummer period, was to end the year on a new landmark figure of 126.
And Marvellous on the near side with I'm Yours battling back on the rail as they run up towards the finish. I'm Yours and Marvellous. Marvellous on the near side will be the record breaker for Joseph O'Brien. 116 beats Michael Kinane's 20-year-old record.
Joseph, we're almost at the end of what's been a really memorable year for you. If we could just go right back to the beginning, though. I know you're on record as saying you had a target of 100 winners that ideally you would like to reach, but was Mick Kinane's record ever even in the back of your mind at the beginning?
No, I don't think. I couldn't. I never imagined that I would get ever close to that. At the start of the season, like I said, I rode 87 the year before, and I thought I'd have an unbelievable year if we get to 100. And we were very lucky that a lot of horses won maidens and a handicap and throughout the year, and we had a good summer, which helped with the good ground throughout the year. And like I say, we were very lucky.
I suppose the other thing was, if you did get to 100, you'd be pretty much guaranteed to win another championship as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100 winners it was unbelievable to get to it, because you know, like I say, we had a lot of horses that won maidens and handicaps, and that's what I probably wanted to get to throughout the season, and to go past it, and like we did, I could never have thought of.
St Nicholas Abbey trying to go one better in front. Gentle Donna raising an effort on the outside. They get away from Charretta. Then Very Nice Name. Await the Dawn. Royal Diamond doing it into the outside. It'll be too late. St Nicholas Abbey in front. The Japanese mare trying to run him down, but St Nick's in front. He'll go one better this year. St Nicholas Abbey drew clear. He won the Dubai Shima Classic. St Nicholas Abbey beat Gentle Donna.
It's always nice to get off to a good start, but even before the season really got going here, you had that brilliant win on St Nicholas Abbey in the Shima Classic. Do you feel maybe that just gave you a nice bit of momentum for when you came back to get stuck in Ireland?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously St Nick was a great horse, and I got beat on him in Dubai the year before. Probably unlucky not to win, and for him to win the following year was great.
And as I say, it was a good start to the season here. Lots of horses that went on to do well over the following months were chipping in at an early stage. I mean, Ruler of the World actually was one of the earliest maiden winners you had, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He'd been working very nicely in the spring, and he won his maiden fairly well. It was a long way back to third, and he proved the horse that he is throughout the rest of the season.
Did you have a fair idea, even at that stage, how good he might turn out to be, or was it still early days with him?
Yeah, it was early days, but he worked very nicely as a 2-year-old, and he just a few little niggly things that he never got to the track. He was favourite for the Chesham, and Right Last got the week before, and I think he gave a few coughs and he just missed the race, and they gave him a little break and just never got to run. So they put him away for the winter, and he'd always worked nicely, and it was nice to see him do it on the track.
And what did you make of his actual performance that day? He was workmanlike, but never really looked like getting beat, did he? Yeah,
he was quite green and lazy. He was on off the bridle, and I had to get a little bit more stuck into him than I thought we would. But the horse to finish second proved to be a decent enough horse, and it was a long way back to third.
Racing now towards the final 200 yards, and it's declaration of war from Bold Thady Quill. Sweet Lightning in third, and running up towards the finish, it's declaration of war, driven out by Joseph O'Brien. will record a 2.5 length victory over Bull Thady Quill. Windsor Palace.
And another of those early successes was Declaration of War. I mean, it's hard to believe now, but it was the only time he ever ran in Ireland in the whole calendar year when he won that listed race at Leopardstown, wasn't it?
Yeah, he won a listed race in very bad ground. He won nicely, and he progressed with every race and throughout the year. Obviously, key to him was fast ground, so for him to get away with the soft ground like that was unbelievable.
And looking back at it now, I suppose it's hard to believe, but he wasn't even sent off favourite that day to win a listed race. I mean, bearing in mind what he went on to achieve after that, it's almost unfathomable, really, isn't it?
Yes, he'd won a group race in Dundalk very well at the back end of his 3-year-old campaign. He only won a half a length, but I overcame a lot of trouble in running. I was very lucky to get there on the night, and he was a very good horse to us throughout the season.
And we saw Camelot winning I think it was the Mooresbridge Stakes at the Curragh. I mean, just to get him back on the track after the problems he'd had towards the end of 2012, that must have been a pretty nice moment, was it?
Yes, it was. He won nicely that day, and we'd hoped that he'd progress plenty from it. And I don't think he was ever the horse throughout the year that he was in his 3-year-old campaign. But like I say, he doesn't know anything.
Camelot now quickens up on the outside, racing inside the last 200 now, and Camelot has come right through them from last to first, and Camelot goes on from triumphant in Parish Hall, and it's a winning reappearance for Camelot, who'll score for Joseph O'Brien. Even
on that day, did he give you as good a feel as maybe he had in some of his big wins as a 3-year-old?
He did to a certain extent, but it was his first run in the season, and we'd hoped that he'd progress a lot. And like I say, he just never came back to as good as he was at a 3-year-old after his surgery. And like I say, he had plenty of. It was a massive thing for him, and like I say, he just never came back to as good as he was, especially in his early 3-year-old campaign.
Magician and Joseph O'Brien go on to lead, being chased by Gale Force 10, who's running him into second place, but it's going to be a 1-2 for Ballydoyle. Magician and Joseph O'Brien win by 4 lengths.
And one of your finest moments, obviously winning the Irish 2000 Guineas for the 3rd year in a row, the first jockey ever to do that on Magician. Just how good was he that day?
He was very good. He'd always worked very well, and he got bed in a Group 3 as a 2-year-old in Leopardstown at the back end of the year, and we were, even though it was very bad ground, we couldn't really put a finger on it. But he came out as a 3-year-old, and he showed on the track what he'd always showed at home, and he was very good that day in particular.
And it was a bold move as well, dropping him back in trip, wasn't it? He looked very impressive over the extended 1.25 at Chester beforehand, didn't he?
Yeah, he had. At Chester is an easy enough 1.25 you're turning, and he'd always worked with plenty of speed. I know he won a maiden in background over a mile up the Curragh, but we always thought that a mile would be no problem to him at 3, and then he went to 1.5 in Santa Anita, so he's a very versatile horse.
And was it any surprise at all to you what he went on to achieve, bearing in mind how good he looked that day?
I wouldn't say it was a surprise, but it was a massive ask for him to have been off the track for so long. His first time going a 1.5 and at the Breeders' Cup, you know, the biggest scene anywhere. But he always worked like a very good horse, and he showed on the track that he is.
And that same day as Magician won the Guineas, a horse called Leading Light won the Gallinule Stakes.
They're racing inside the last 200. Leading Light, Little White Cloud and Count of Limonade on the outside. But Leading Light is the leader now as they go up towards the finish. And Leading Light draws on to win for Joseph O'Brien.
Tell us a little bit about him, because relatively unheralded at the start of the year, but he turned out to be a smashing horse for you, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He's a tough horse, and he only does enough. He'd always work nicely at home. He's quite lazy, and nothing ever takes much out of him. And he won a maiden in Tipperary, just won. He was off the bridle a lot of the way, and he started the year with a very low mark in the 70s, or high 70s, 80s, and he won very well in Navan. We thought he'd win, but we didn't think he'd win in the fashion that he did, and he proved for the rest of the season that it was no fluke, and he improved with every run.
Leading Light the first to commit. Galileo Rock challenges. Great Hall running a huge race, switches to the far side. Secret Number. Talent has to squeeze her way out. Now she finds daylight. Libertarian runs on down to the furlong. Leading Light, Galileo Rock. Here's Talent still running on strongly. Leading Light got first run. Talent continues to finish off in behind, but Leading Light holds sway, and Leading Light shines and wins the Ledger for Aidan and Joseph O'Brien.
There were lots and lots of nice early 2-year-olds as well, Joseph. I mean, Stubbs was one who flew the flag early on. I know he was beaten at Royal Ascot afterwards, but he looked good that day at Navan, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He had plenty of pace. He disappointed us a little bit in the rest throughout the back end of the season, but he showed plenty of pace, and that he was a nice call.
And of course, War Command lowered his colours, and indeed everyone else's, in the commentary at Royal Ascot. I mean, how impressed were you with him later on in the campaign? He bounced back well from that defeat in the Phoenix, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He had a little break after Ascot, and it was hard ground, and he was running against seasoned horses, and the edge wasn't on him in the Phoenix, and going to the line, I was going to the line as strong as any of them. And I thought if he had a run between Ascot and the Phoenix, he might have won that day, but he came out and he won the Dewhurst well, and ground that wouldn't have been ideal, so he's also an exciting horse for next season.
Australia's quickened up in tremendous style and gone right away from Free Eagle as they race up towards the finish. It's Australia and Joseph O'Brien stretching right away clear and going to win this by 6 to 7 lengths. Australia wins in a common canter from Free Eagle. Geoffrey, Chaucer and Joseph O'Brien. Oklahoma City running on the far side, but up towards the finish. Geoffrey, Chaucer will make it 2 out of 2, wins the Judgment. Oklahoma City gives Aidan O'Brien a 1-2 altruistic third.
And two of the colts who, I suppose, came to prominence a little bit later on, Australia and Geoffrey Chaucer. I mean, Australia in particular seems to be one that's really exciting. You just take us back to his performance at Leopardstown when he beat the very well-regarded Free Eagle.
Yeah, Australia is a very nice horse. He got bad first time out with the colour. He missed the kick 5 or 6 lengths, and he did unbelievably well to just get beat a short head. Another stride I might have won. He won nicely the next day, and going to Leopardstown we were very hopeful, and again he was quite green throughout the race, so he's to win in the fashion that he did, having been so green, was unbelievable. So he's one that we're really looking forward to for next year.
And Geoffrey Chaucer, again, I suppose low enough profile initially, won well first time up, and then at the Curragh looked very good, didn't he, second time?
Yeah, first time out was a bit of a mess. There was only 3 runners, and I didn't want to make the running, but I got landed in front, and we went slow and sprinted, and he quickened up very well, and the second filly proved to be an above. She's well thought of as well, so he came out then at the Curragh, and we got to drop him in, and they went a nice even pace, and he showed then what he showed us at home. So he just missed the Racing Post Trophy, unfortunately, but again he's a very exciting horse for next year.
And amongst the fillies, as far as the 2-year-olds are concerned, Tapestry, would she have been the pick, would she?
Yeah, Tapestry is a very good filly. She was probably a bit unlucky not to win the Migler. Things didn't go my way, but hopefully next season she can prove to be right up there with the best of them.
Inside the last 200, Charusa in the lead. From on the outside, Tapestry with St. Deer and 3D Alexander running up towards the finish now, and Tapestry running on strongly on the outside for Shamie Heaven and beats Charusa.
And I know when she won her maiden the first day, you rode one of the stable companions. Were you surprised when you saw her jetting past you in the closing stages?
Yes, she'd always worked nicely, but the filly that I rode was working very well, and she'd had a run. And I just thought Tapestry was going to be a bit green, but she obviously, I was wrong. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. But it's always a nice surprise when they pop up like that.
And in between that and the unlucky defeat in the Moyler, she was pretty good as well in the debutant.
Yeah, she was very good in the debutant. She won nicely. She won fairly slow, with a length or a length and a half. But she's an exciting filly.
So just going back to the season overall, Joseph, you got to the end of June, and I don't know were you aware of this, but compared to 2012, at the end of June you'd ridden 23 winners in 2012. 2013 you'd ridden 49 by that stage. I mean, did you take stock of things there and think, oh, we could be on for something pretty special here?
Well, I was kind of still just hoping to get to the 100 mark. You know, I was probably only halfway there, but that's what I had set out to try and do. And like I say, we're very lucky. We had a very good summer, and for whatever reason, the horses out of here thrive on fast ground mainly. So that was a big help to us.
And just tell us about the weeks leading up to the milestone, if you like, that great day at Navan. I mean, were you feeling any extra pressure at that stage, or were you just going about the job the same as you always would?
You know, just trying to win on every horse. And that's always what every jockey tries to do, but it doesn't work out like that. But I knew that I was getting closer to it, and for it to come off was unbelievable.
And that was a fantastic day, obviously, at Navan, the 9th of October. Relatively low-key midweek meeting, but there were plenty of people there, perhaps who mightn't have otherwise been there to see a bit of history, wasn't there?
Yeah, no, it was great. I suppose for the couple of weeks up before it was kind of something that I had aimed for, like when I thought it was possible, and just to get it out of the way was a big relief.
And when you went through your rides that day, the night before, as I'm sure you did you have a feeling that if all panned out well, that could be the day it happened?
Yeah, I thought if I was lucky, it might happen. I should have won the maiden in the first race, but that one slipped, and the filly won, and yeah, listen, it was great.
And the first of the trio, Sardinia, a horse you had a run at Roscommon a few weeks earlier. You didn't have too many worries with him, to be fair, did you?
No, we thought he'd get the trip and booked him out, and he gallops and stays, and yeah, he was tough, and it was nice for him to win.
And then obviously came the great moment itself on Marvellous.
And Marvellous on the near side with I'm Yours battling back on the rail as they run up towards the finish. I'm Yours and Marvellous. Marvellous on the near side will be the record breaker for Joseph O'Brien. 1:16 beats Michael Cannan's 20-year-old record.
Just tell us, were you able to enjoy the moment on her as you came into the closing stages of the race?
She was very green throughout the race, and it was only the last furlong that she really got going, and once she started quickening up, I thought it was going to get there, but like I say, when there was so much anticipation for it coming up, it was nice to get it out of the way.
And tell us about the reception you got afterwards, because I say maybe more people than you would have expected at a normally quiet midweek meeting at Navan towards the end of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, listen, it was great, and like I say, I owe a big thanks to all the owners and the trainers that supported me, and Kevin, Ryan, my agent, done a great job, and Mr. and Mrs. Magner and Mr. and Mrs. Tabor and Mr. and Mrs. Smith have all been very good to me.
And then you went out and rode another one for good measure on Diceus. I suppose, if anything, you were able to just go out there and really enjoy that, were you?
Yeah, exactly. No, Dennis told me going out that he thought he had a very good chance, and he was spot on.
And the last winner of the campaign, I suppose it was a fitting one, a horse called Waver, trained by your dad, owned by your mum. That was up at Dundalk.
And Waver has been driven up on the inside by Joseph O'Brien to lead. Refractor coming to challenge on the near side for Conor King, but it is Waver who's in the lead as they run up towards the finish. And Waver and Joseph O'Brien, the champion, the record breaker, 1:26 for the season.
Did you know at that stage that was likely to be the last one?
No, he'd been running well throughout the year, and he missed a break on me, and I was supposed to make the run on him. I ended up sitting last. I couldn't get him going early, but I got a nice split down the inside, and he got there, so it was nice to get one out of the way.
And of course, we shouldn't forget, I mean, the man whose record you beat, Mick Cannan, he's something of a living legend in Ireland after all his achievements in the saddle. I mean, he had some nice words to say about you after you got there. I mean, was Mick someone you looked up to in your younger days?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I suppose Mick was probably one of the greatest jockeys ever. But listen, it was unbelievable to get even close to him, and the break was probably, it was a dream. But yeah, no, it was nice.
And I'd say those words probably meant a lot to you as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. He told me to come back when I'd won 14 champion jockeys, so I don't think that'll ever happen. But no, to even get close to that would have been unbelievable.
Declaration of war coming to a furlong to run. Mucho Macho Man. Declaration of war for Gordon on the inside. Mucho Macho Man has the lead close to home. Mucho Macho Man. Declaration of war will take charge of final man. Mucho Macho Man. He did it over. Will take charge. The declaration of war in a thrilling Breeders' Cup Classic.
And looking at things at the end of the season, Joseph, obviously you went to the Breeders' Cup, you had a little bit of a break after that. I mean, did you feel you needed a break after the year you'd had, or were you keen just to maybe get back and stuck in again?
I know that obviously it was unbelievable to have a break, to just to freshen up for a while, and then to get back into it.
And what about the winter season at Dundalk? I know obviously you have to work hard at your weight. Do you find that's a big help that you're able to, ride competitively through the winter?
Yeah, listen, it's good just to keep fit, something to keep an eye on you. I don't do too light during the winter, 9.5, 9.4, 9.5, and I get it back right then come March. But like I say, I don't struggle too much during the winter because it's not worth it, and we spend long enough during the summer. So yeah, no, Dundalk is a great help to us.
And looking forward, obviously this year is going to be pretty hard to top no matter what happens in the future, but how do you see things going into 2014? I mean, are you going to have a goal set out for that year?
No, I think I'll start every year, and that's to ride as many winners as possible, and to give every horse the best chance of winning, and whatever happens after that happens, and like I say, that's every jockey starts every year hoping to ride as many winners as possible.
And looking ahead to next year, Joseph, I mean, you're going to have a lot of nice horses to ride again. We've spoken about plenty of them already, but a lot of the 3-year-old generation from 2013 are still going to be around. That must be pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yes, obviously we've Ruler of the World, Magician, Leading Light, King's Barnes. So hopefully we have a very strong older team next year, and please God, all can be well with them come the beginning of the year, and they can progress from what they did from 3 on to 4.
King's Barnes, actually, you mentioned there, I mean, he was one we didn't really get to see much of in 2013. Are you optimistic that he could come back to his best next year, maybe?
Yeah, hopefully. He's a very good horse, and he works very well at home, and for him to be placed over a mile in Ascot in one of the biggest mile races of the season was unbelievable, because you know, you'd imagine that a mile and a quarter, and he might get a mile and a half. So he's a very exciting horse for next year.
And it's Eye of the Storm out in front, opening up a 3-length advantage now. Inishman is second, in third place is Leah Clare. 150 yards to go, and it's Eye of the Storm and Joseph O'Brien out in front, maintain a 3-length advantage going to the line, and Eye of the Storm will give Joseph and Aidan O'Brien a double on Kerry National afternoon.
And another one actually who did quite well in the back end of the season, missed most of the summer, but his form worked out very well. Eye of the Storm, he's a nice prospect for those big staying races.
Yes, exactly. He got a little setback after he ran in a Derby trial. I think it was in Sandown, and he was working nicely, and he was quite green and ran a bit keen in Galway. His first time stepping up and trip, and he learned to relax after that, and he won well in the stole, and he ran a massive race in Ascot.
Eye of the Storm, then Estimate, and Royal Diamond, 150 yards to go. Harris Tweed all out, coming Eye of the Storm and Royal Diamond. Royal Diamond on the outside, the last threat to Harris Tweed, who's all out. Royal Diamond dives and may have pinched the prize. Eye of the Storm next.
And by the sound of things, you're going to have another sibling on the track next year as well, with your brother Donica likely to take out a licence at some stage. I mean, just tell us how you found it this year. Sarah's obviously been riding, and Anna, your other sister, you've ridden in races against her, actually. How was that?
Yeah, no, listen, it's great. The lads all ride out before they go to school, and ride work, and they're a big help to us here, so it'll be great. Donica, I think he's 16 in June or July, so he'll be another competition for rides.
And have you found them coming to you looking for advice? Have you been able to help them so far?
I know, listen, exactly. Donica rides loads of work, and he's well able to ride, so like I say, they're a big help to us.
And just tell us finally, Joseph, looking to the future, I mean, how excited are you about next year and further ahead? I mean, are you enjoying the job as much as you ever had?
Oh yeah, listen, it's just listen, I can't wait for next year already, so this is an exciting time of year, seeing how the horses progress and mature over the winter, and the yearlings, the 2-year-olds for next year, so I can't wait.